Lily, to begin with, I just want to thank the Lord for the blessings that He has bestowed upon us. And that's my prayer for everyone that are here tonight and everyone in New Zealand. Continue to have that blessing. And I think that's what defines what hope is for us to move forward. Sorry, guys, I have to move a little bit closer. Can you hear me now? That's good. Now, Marlo and Elaine, raise up your hand if you know what language is that. Yes, you? Samoan. Very close. Yep. Tongan. That's correct. Beautiful. Tongan is better than the Samoan. Well, I think you all understand the reasons why we're here this afternoon. We're here for the same purpose, the same cause. My name is Sio Saya Makahununiu. I'm from a little island in the Pacific they call the Friendly Island. So if you've got time one day, when the border's open, make sure you go over there. The sun's always shining. There's a lot of beaches over there. So, okay, where can I start? There's a lot of things on the list, but where can I start? I used to work in the prison, and I was operating in the capacity of a principal correction officer. And I used to oversee a wing of about 136 prisoners with lots of staff in it. I do realize that the time, before I started, I just want to thank those who were helping us during our hardship times, like the freedom fighters, and everyone in here that I cannot name, put in names. So that's another story in itself. I just want to thank everybody for all of your help. Let's go back to the story. I work in the prison, and I remember the day that we were told that we're going to be mandated, especially for once that you are in a losing position. You are in a very strong position. You stand your ground, you stand for something. That's what life is all about. If you don't stand for something, you just fall for anything. And I think when you leave tonight, just stay positive and, if you have a time, just say your karakia. There's someone out there who's looking down on you. And to conclude, I just want to thank everyone, and I hope that you enjoy your time. And never give up hope.
Bring this down because I'm short. It feels on. Kia ora koutou katoa. My name is Melanie Petrosky, and I'm from the One Party. I don't know if you've heard of us. We were new. We started. Stephanie Harawira started. You may know the Harawira family, quite famous political family. She was in the Māori Party and Mana, and then she didn't like Mana's view on Israel, so she started her new party, and we are a Christian party. So she prayed and she asked what name, and she felt the Lord say one, because we're meant to be all one, right? One nation under one God, but yes, unfortunately we've been segregated. But she really wanted Alfred Nardo, actually, from the National Party to be the leader. I don't know if you remember, he was on TV. I think Jack Tame interviewed him and said, "Are you starting a new party?" And he said no, unfortunately, he didn't take up the opportunity. But who believes the last election was rigged? 50% for Labor, oh gee whiz, and I don't know if you're aware, but Labor and Greens, their percentage was 66.6. If that's not a demonic number, then what is? And and I don't know if anyone saw her acceptance speech, but it was very, it was at the Auckland Town Hall, and honestly, the lights, all red, obviously they're red, but it's just the way the lights were, it was like pentagram, man. It was like, oh my gosh, can you get much obvious? I do believe that she worships Satan, because evil has got to come, like evil is just rife in the world, right? So that evil has got to come from somewhere, and we are Bible believers, and it is almost like it is. The Bible is actually unfolding before our eyes all over the world. I didn't say this last time in Napier, but I don't know if anyone's heard of The Economist, the magazine. If you looked at the 2019 cover, one of the covers, maybe December, they had all these little pictures, and one of them was 4 horsemen. And in Revelation 6, it talks, everyone sort of heard about the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse. So I believe this is totally planned, totally manipulated by the high echelon, let's call them the cabal. We've got, actually The Economist magazine is actually owned by the Rothschilds. If you don't know
that says it all anyway for a start.
And, you've got the Rockefellers and and the Gateses and so we're pretty much fighting a war. But highly recommend reading the Bible because it's just like kind of alive. But I'm not really here, I guess, to speak on behalf of One Party. You can check us out, oneparty.net. Yes, we are Christians. So if there's any Christians, maybe Seal, if you want to think about becoming a candidate, that'd be amazing. I know it's all rigged, and I just felt like this is a calling from the Lord to stand up for our rights. In fact, we have 4 pillars, like similar to the 3 with Counterspin: freedom, righteousness, justice, and truth are our 4 pillars. And you can check us out, oneparty.net. I might get in trouble with the party if I speak on their behalf, because last time I said, Labour's just a brood of vipers. Jesus calls the Pharisees, who were the religious folk, and the One Party said, we can't say that.
We can though. It's a nest of bloody vipers.
Yeah, they are a brood of vipers. And it's funny, vipers, I don't know if anyone's followed Dr. Ardis. And they found, speaking of vipers, they've actually found, snake venom in these shots. And obviously not all shots are the same, they're not all created equal. I do believe in that Slovenian, I think she was Slovenian or Slovakian nurse, who came out and said, I've discovered 3 types of vax. The Polish. Might have been maybe a different year, maybe there's 2 nurses who discovered the first one's saline solution only, which is what obviously the politicians get. The other one is messenger RNA only, and the third one is obviously the kill shot, which has got the graphene oxide and it's even got creepy crawlies in it. Stu Peters is an awesome one to watch on Richard and Rumble, because he interviews lots of scientists and doctors and so forth who look right into these vaccines. So that's that. I'll tell you my own personal story. So after the last election, which I was very disappointed, I actually decided to travel to Washington DC in the middle of a pandemic. Auckland Airport was a ghost town, and it was very dystopian. Anyway, I didn't know about the voucher system for MIQ. I knew I had to go to MIQ. That was fine, that was planned, $3,000, whatever. But I came back just after they, made it compulsory for a voucher. And I didn't know about the voucher system because there wasn't much advertising on TV or anything like that, radio. And so they brought it in compulsory on the 1st of November 2020, and I was meant to come back on the 5th. Anyway, Washington DC, I got right in the midst of BLM and very disappointed at their election result because I had an invested interest in Trump. And I lost anyway. Hello, yep. It feels like I'm going to hit it anyway. Flew back through Dubai, Emirates. I flew Emirates. Emirates didn't tell me about the voucher system, so they didn't give me, so when I went to get my boarding pass, they said, oh, sorry, we can't give you a boarding pass. I was like, what? This is Dubai Airport. Because I think I booked for the 6th of November 2020, and they said, oh, can you fly, sorry, the 5th, and they said, no, you have to fly on the 6th. I said, okay, so are you going to shout me a hotel for the night in Dubai Airport? And they said, no, and the hotel in Dubai costs like $400 a night. So I was like, oh, okay, so I stayed there one night, so on the 6th I went down to the information desk, and I said, can I please have my boarding pass, I'm flying today? And they said, no. And I was like, what? So, in a nutshell, I was actually stuck in Dubai Airport for a week. And yeah, there goes my MIQ money. And I looked on the, the MIQ schedule or whatever, voucher system, and I couldn't get one until February. So I would have been stuck in Dubai for 3 months. Praise God, a blessing in disguise. Just before the March lockdown, I actually got assaulted by a mental health patient that I was looking after, so I was in health as well. And so I had post-concussion a little bit, and with jet lag, I just used that as an excuse to apply for the emergency allocation, and I got it, praise God. But still, in that time of being stressed and not knowing what to do and where to go and everything, I had to stay for about a week. And I thought, well, I won't stay in the expensive hotel, I'll just stay in the terminal. And honestly, it was so dystopian. I felt like I was in between movies of like The Terminal, Hunger Games, 1984, like it was really bizarre. And they were so strict on masks. Excuse me. And anyway, so I thought, I'll stay inside the terminal. They've got these little deck chairs which move about if somebody else is on the other side. And so I did. I stayed on this deck chair in the Dubai terminal. Luckily, Dubai has a hotel, which is good, but still. And it was after then I actually felt sick. I think it was because of the mixture of stress and just being in this airport. I didn't even leave the airport because I didn't want to get tested on the way in. So I got my voucher and I left. And I actually didn't mind wearing a mask inside the plane because I was symptomatic. I felt very achy, tired and headachy and stuff, but I didn't have the breathing problems. And I posted a few Facebook videos. I did a little parody of, no woman, no cry, no voucher, no fly. So, got to keep yourself sane somehow. It was weird. Anyway, I flew into Auckland, and of course, honestly, in a word, it was a military exercise. Has anyone done MIQ? Yeah, what did you think? Like, do you think it was like a military kind of thing? Because you've got the army guys there. Yeah, we've got the army names, yeah, and you've. Yeah, well, they would do just do my job. Sorry.
Yeah, just do my job. That's a good one.
Just reminds me, does anyone know Lance Warnow? Lance Warnow was an amazing speaker. Did you see one of his videos? He talks about Klaus Schwab. And he's like, Klaus Schwab. Anyway, I think Klaus Schwab is actually probably Nazi,
I think he is actually too.
Yeah, anyway, so you can't escape, the airport. You get on the bus and you go to your MIQ hotel and you put in this room, and I actually escaped my room because I wanted to know how full are these things, because why do you need vouchers if some rooms are empty? And I took videos of, because I thought, well, it's dinner time, they just leave a bag outside your door, and I was thinking, well, all the doors that don't have dinner potentially are empty. So I took a little video, and there was quite a few that were didn't have their dinner over there, so I'm assuming they were empty. it was just horrendous, like going in, checking in, long queue, guy in an army uniform. Yeah, it was a military exercise. I mean, for the most deadliest disease in the world, they had just an open waste paper basket for used masks.
Yes,
you know?
that's cross-contamination going on,
Have
eh?
a biochemical, not a bioweapon, but chemical bin, you know. And so yes, I was tested positive on day 3, but you have to be really assertive with the health system these days, because this woman, the nurse, wanted to, shove that swab up my nose, and I said no, because apparently the swabs have got ethylene oxide on them, and they hit the brain blood barrier, and I said, okay, just test my throat, and so she did. But she pushed and pushed and pushed. She said about 3 times. I said, no, because my nose had been bleeding slightly because of a different medication I was taking. But yeah, that was the excuse that I used. It was positive, and I knew I was going to be positive because of my symptoms. So I rang my doctor in Hastings. He wasn't my regular doctor, but I said, listen, just come back from America and they were talking about hydroxychloroquine and zinc. He said, can you please prescribe me that? And he wasn't meant to tell me this, I found out later, but he said, no, I can't, or I'll lose my job. And I was like, well, if that isn't nefarious, what is? So I was like, because he said, oh, do you want to take the risk with that? And he listed off all these side effects with hydroxychloroquine. And I was like, yes, I do want to take the risk. But he said, no, I'll lose my job. So I was like, oh, okay, whatever. You're no help. And so I got a call from the doctor or whoever was there, and they said, you've got half an hour to pack up, get ready, we're shipping you off to Jet Park, MIQ quarantine facility. And I was like, mate, give me at least an hour, like I'm aching, I can't move, I need a shower, I need to pack, it was just really harsh. Like they didn't have any empathy or compassion or anything. And so I convinced them to give me an hour. And shipped off. I was really worried because there was another lady in the van with me, they dressed us up all up in PPE. The gloves were making my hands sweat and it was gross wearing all this PPE stuff. Anyway, the lady behind me, I noticed she was alongside me in the plane, and because I was symptomatic, I thought, oh my goodness, I hope I didn't give her anything. And she told me in the van going to Jet Park, oh, I'm pregnant as well.
Oh, gross.
I never saw her after that, you don't talk to anyone in MIQ really. Pretty much locked up in a room, it was pretty much jail, and I don't know how you felt about it, but
I was able to work, so I just involved myself in that.
oh, good one. Yeah, well, I went on a Avengers movie marathon, so that was my MIQ experience. But I did feel like I wanted to get some fresh air, so I escaped, because you're meant to have an escort.